And we're going to show you how to make a chicken soup that's levels better than the typical throw in a pot, boil for an hour kind of thing. It can actually be a gourmet meal. And we have a recipe here which is inspired from east, west, up and down, a little bit of everything. Plus, we have a secret ingredient that's going to take it even a notch higher. I'm going to show you how to use this, but I'm not revealing yet what it is.
Well, top secret.
Top secret for the time being, but it's well worth the wait. First, we are going to warm up our pot to, let's say, medium. Give it a good squirt of olive oil. I don't know, 3 tablespoons, I would say. And then we go in with our sofrito, or mirepoix, if you so want, which is 3 medium-sized, finely chopped onions, 3 large carrots, but they're cut a little bit bigger than you would your typical sofrito because we want it in the soup to be having some texture and you get some nice carrot there. And then celery the same, 3 or 4 stalks.
4 it was, yeah.
Sort of equal amounts. And now we're going to let this sweat out a bit here. And as you can see, I have chosen my wide low pot here so you can better see what happens. If I was doing this off camera, I would do it in a typical soup pot. But for you to see better, I chose this pot today. See you in a couple of minutes when this is sweated out. And when your onions, they start getting translucent, then we don't want to take them any further because we don't want them to become brown or anything for this. We want them softened, that's all. We create space here in the middle. We'll give it a little bit more oil, just a tad. And then we go in with 2 large cloves of garlic minced. And we let that become fragrant 20, 30 seconds until it smells really garlicky.
I don't think in Europe it's very common to add garlic in soups. I think it's more Asian influence that, or...
I think it is, but
they make more aromatic soups.
We have more Asian influences here that's going to go in our chicken soup, taking some inspiration from Thailand. That's about it. Then we mix everything in. That smells nice. And we're going to give it a healthy glug of vermouth. Shall we say?
Did you remove again the...
Yeah, I took out that stupid plastic thing they put here in Europe. I mean, it's so annoying. What shall we say? 1 to 2 deciliter of this. Let it cook off the alcohol. And when that is cooked off and you get rid of all the alcohol vapors here, then we're going to continue with some chicken stock. There's a link down below how to make this. This is super condensed, so we are using almost a liter here. If you don't have stock, then you could go with chicken broth all the way and not add water. But since this is so condensed, we're adding a liter of this. A fantastic stock, I have to say. And now comes a little bit of the inspiration from other places. We are going to go in with a tablespoon of Sichuan peppercorn we've crushed in the mortar and pestle. That's actually, instead of just using black pepper, that gives like a lemonish, citrusy kind of flavor to the soup.
Which is perfect for soups.
Yep,
yeah.
That's the Chinese inspiration. Then we have a couple of tablespoons of finely minced ginger. If you don't like small chunks of ginger in your soup, you can grate it on your microplaner. That's all up to you, but I love it when you have that those little chunks of ginger there when you're eating. It's perfect. Very delicious. And now comes a little bit of Thai inspired here. What do we have here? 7, 8? Yeah, 7, 8 kaffir lime leaves. They are fantastic. If you can't get them fresh, do like us. We buy them frozen. It works fantastic. And it gives super flavor to any soup, basically, in my opinion.
And great aroma.
Yeah,
and in Thailand, they make, I think, the best soups.
Yeah, they do. We have actually, we've made tom kha gai, and there's a link down below how to make that actually, by the way. That became a little bit too spicy for you, but...
Too spicy. Okay.
Then a pinch of salt for now, just to bind together the flavors, because we are going to add a rind of Parmesan to our soup that we're going to let boil with the soup. Obviously, we remove it at the end. That's going to give a little bit of texture, saltiness, and some good flavor to this. And now comes the chicken component, which here we have 3 bone-in, skin-on chicken breasts. You could take a whole bird if you so want to, but this is actually nice because you get the meat that we want. Nestle them in here like this. Move things around a bit.
It already smells so good.
It comes quickly. It comes really quickly.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna cover it with boiling water until the chickens, they are submerged. So we have a nice soup. I might add an extra liter of water actually, but let's see. So we're gonna bring this to a boil, and then we're gonna cover it, and we're gonna let it simmer until our chicken reach a core temperature of around 75 degrees. Then we will yank them out, but we're gonna show you when we get there. So let's see how we're doing here after 45 minutes of boiling. Wow, the aromas here.
That's super aromatic.
Oh man, that smells so good. But let's see, the chicken, we wanna go, as I said, for around 75 core temperature. 76, 77 even, so that's beautiful. Then we are going to pull the chicken out of our soup into pot here. We're gonna let it cool down so we can shred it. Out it comes. And now we're gonna let that cool over here while we continue working on our soup. Now it's time to see how our soup is doing. So let's give it a taste to see how we are doing with salt. It's good, but it definitely needs some salt. So I would say, actually, I'm gonna go in with a whole tablespoon of salt because it needs it. That's for sure. Gonna split that around. But that's one thing. Salt is one thing for the flavor. But this is a watery soup. We ended up actually using 3 liters of water just for the analogy of how much we used. So we have 3 liters of water and a liter of stock. But the mouthfeel, and that's where my top secret ingredient comes in this, because we are going to slightly increase the viscosity by using xanthan gum. I have to say it correctly. That sounds like some kind of weird chemical. Actually, it isn't. It's a purely natural bacteria that comes from the surface of cauliflower and other vegetables that they grow on sugar, and then they harvest it and grind it into a powder. And that's a stabilizer that you use for many things. For instance, if you want to make ice cream and you want to get that smooth, like when you buy it in a shop, you can never get that at your homemade ice cream because you get ice crystals inside. This is what you use. Then you don't get it, you can make like perfect professional ice cream. Creamy ice cream, exactly. Okay. Or if you want to bake gluten-free bread, gluten-free flour, you don't get any gluten structure, you don't get any good texture in the bread. This is what you want to add. Then you don't get a super good, like a gluten bread, but you get there, sort of. So it's a stabilizer, it's an emulsifier, but you have to be very careful with how much you use. I made a liter of water before, now I just have a bowl of it here, and I added 1 gram of this, and now you get in a whole liter. If you can see the viscosity here, this is like a pan sauce viscosity. And if you use too much, it becomes clumpy and really like gooey, I would say. So you have to be really careful with your analogy, how much you want. Better start with half of what you believe, and you can always add more, but you can't take it out again. Second problem, if you put this directly in water, then it clumps up immediately. It won't mix well with the water because the surface attracts it, so it stays like that. So in order to get it into our soup properly, we're going to use a little bit of oil, like tablespoon and a half of olive oil. And since I don't have a microgram scale, then I know now by experience that this here is enough for a liter of soup to get what you want. So I'm going to go in with 3 of those in my oil. I can always add a little bit more. I have 4+ liters of soup. Then we mix it into the oil. What happens now is the xanthan gum disperses in the oil. It doesn't get dissolved. But then the oil will be our, let's say, vessel of delivery, that it gets into the soup. So now it's all dispersed, but not dissolved. So each of these little crystals is dispersed in oil into our soup. And then we give it a good stir. And it will thicken up the soup a little bit and give us a super delicious mouthfeel that you get, for instance, from a fat pan sauce or stuff like that. Actually, it's also, you can make your pan sauce with this and make it less fat, so you get a thick sauce and not a thick you. that's the trick. Finished off our chicken, and actually my wife told me to cube the chicken instead of shredding it because she says it's better for presentation. And you know the saying, happy wife, happy life. So I cubed it.
It does look better. So.
Yeah. No, it's true, it does look better. Yeah. Anyway, and the soup has been simmering a little bit more here, and now everything is dissolved nice and it smells fantastic. It thickened up exactly that little bit that I wanted. I don't want it to become like a pan sauce, that's not the idea, but I wanted to get there so you get that mouthfeel, that it coats your mouth, your tongue, so the taste, they linger in your mouth instead of just flushing back like water. And that's exactly where I am now.
But you know, in a future soup, we will do the egg lemon, the Greek style.
Of course.
Lemon. No, that's also excellent.
It's fantastic soup.
Nice.
Fantastic. So, back with the chicken. Not to make too much of a mess here, I have a tendency. And that's all. We let that come back to a simmer here, crank it up. And then we're going to talk about what are we going to add to the soup, because you could add rice, or you could add egg noodles, you could even use ramen noodle if you wanted. But we have chosen to go a little bit different today. We are going to go with rice noodles, thin rice noodles, and they only need about 2 minutes, and we are already back at a simmer. So I'm going to put these in and spread them out and see how they become instantly see-through. 2 minutes, and this is done, and we are ready to plate up. So I'm definitely not going to complain if anybody's presented me with this. It's beautiful, beautiful chicken soup, homemade crusty bread. Link down below how to make that. Is really, really good. The only thing missing here is a bit of heat. But since my family, they're all sissies, the minute I mention the minute I mention chilies to any of them, they start sweating just by the word. I want a bit of heat in this, and obviously you could add some chilies from the beginning. I would have done that, but I can add some of my homemade dehydrated habanero chili flakes, but be careful with these. This is...
yeah, I made the mistake and I smelled them before.
This is super hot, but so flavorful. So let me find some chicken here with some chili and some carrot. Nice. And see how this tastes. That is absolutely beautiful. The chicken is cooked to perfection, and that's actually there. Take it out 75 degrees. Don't let it boil too long. It becomes dry. This is super succulent, tender, excellent. The soup itself is perfect. The kaffir lime comes through nice. The ginger comes through nice. I can only say for a winter's day, if you've got a bit of a cold, this is what you want.